Welcome to Working Dogs and Whiskey. Join Shaun White and Jonathan Moses as they pour a glass and dive into insightful and fun conversations about dogs in all their incredible roles. So grab your favorite drink and let's raise a glass to great stories, laughs, and a whole lot of dog talk.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Working Dogs and Whiskey. I'm Shaun White, and I'm sitting here with my co-hosts and some friends. So we got Jon and good friends of mine. I've known them for probably almost 10 years now, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do better with making do on my promises. I said a few episodes I would have them on. I've been telling them for the last 2 years or a year that I would have them on the podcast, and they are now with us. We have Josh and Racheal with Paws and Footprints. How are y'all?
We're good. How are you?
Good.
I was about to say we made it. We finally made it.
We finally got it. I'm excited.
I don't think it's you finally made it. I finally caught y'all. I had to catch you on the holiday, the day before the holiday, so they don't know how to be still. Evidence of that. Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and they're sitting with us, so always doing
and
something.
loving it. On a serious note, I'm glad to be home. I am glad to be home.
So where were you at? Go ahead.
What's up?
Where were you?
Oh, dude, for November, I was gone. I was in Mexico. So I was in Mexico for the first week of November. Philadelphia, second week of November. Indiana, third week of November. Thanksgiving, here we are.
Yeah.
Back home.
Ooh, I'll be ready to be home too, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm excited. I'll be home for 2 weeks, yeah?
Yeah.
For 2 weeks.
Nice.
So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we'll kind of segue with that. We'll just start with that. Like, what was going on while you were gone? So just a quick rundown of what
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
doing.
So we're fortunate enough. So long story short, we've worked a lot with Mexican police. So about 2 years ago now.
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years ago, we trained 26 of their handlers on human remains. And fortunate enough with what they've been doing, and they're averaging about 52 fines a year. Each handler is averaging about 52 fines a year. With that, the segue into that is that they really enjoyed what we did. So they invite us out every year to Mexico for like a conference, which is why I went there this time. Last year I talked about human remains. This year I got to talk about fentanyl, person-born IED, and human remains. And basically, we categorize it very similar to what we taught in England this year. So when it came to fentanyl, we created this thing called a conditional response. When it came to person-born IED, talked about that and how we imprint dogs. And human remains, we talked about how we imprint dogs on human remains and how that should carry over to like the operational environment. So that was the first week. Second, third week, we worked with DHS, where we're able to do like some research and development projects. And then we get to just travel and help test out and serve as subject matter expert. That word's a little uncomfortable though, I gotta tell you. So I don't know about expert, but that's what they call it, right? They call it SMEs. But we're able to help out and give our opinion and help wherever we can.
No, that's good. Man, there's already a lot. I'm like, now, you know me, I have ADHD. I'm like, all right, now I want to talk about fentanyl and stuff. So,
For sure.
Yeah,
but
100%.
we'll try to stay somewhat structured. Let's go ahead and get the origin story. I'll ask about 2 to 3 questions so we can let y'all talk. First off, obviously how y'all got into canine and everything as individuals, and then how y'all met, and then the partnership. Some of the partnership is how y'all work together.
Easy day.
Shit. All right.
There it is. One.
Hey, I was
By the way,
I figured one up. That's good.
I'm trying to help Racheal and myself. We have tally marks on how many cuss words she's going to say. Yeah, so we have bets going on.
Oh, there needs to be a tally for each cuss word. No, but on a serious note, basically, before I got into the Marine Corps, I always knew I wanted to be a canine cop. I knew I didn't want to do the college realm, so I went to the military, which none of my family was in the military. So how the fuck I even got there was beyond me. But lucky I did. But got into the military. I knew obviously I wanted to be a cop. Didn't know in the Marine Corps that they told you, hey, yeah, you're going to be a cop, but then you get to fucking boot camp. And then at the end of boot camp, they're like, all right, you're either going to be a cop or you're going to be corrections. And I was like, all right, motherfuckers, like, I better be a fucking cop. Like, I'm not going to go be a corrections officer. It ain't going to happen. And thank God got to that MP slot, but got to my first duty station in Iwakuni, Japan. Before I got there, right, I already knew, like, I need to get to that canine sector. Like, I got to get my foot in that fucking door. And of course, you know, being a boot, they don't want to look at you because you just fucking got there. They want you to be on the road. And I'm like, well, fuck, man. Like, how do I make a stamp? Because obviously I came with I went to Iwakuni, Japan. I think there was fucking 23 of us. So we had 23 fucking new boots going to fucking one duty station. So I knew we were all going to be fucking fighting each other to get specialties and all that good jazz. But got to my platoon.
What's the count of it now? I got 15.
I got 13.
Okay, too easy. My bad. I ain't trying to do all this. I'm trying to be, you know what I mean? But that was, I'm like counting, bro. Hey, good for you.
In my heart, I'm like, Racheal, we talked about this. I tried. So my number was 20. And after the third one.
Maybe 100
and I
right.
know, yeah.
Right.
I'm feeling good.
Anyway,
we can still make it if you just don't say anything now.
No, keep going.
That is freaking funny. See, now I said freaking. There you go.
I should have went with 100 when you misheard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You should have went with 100.
No,
Yeah.
once we start getting into it, well,
No, that's good. That means you're comfortable and you're being yourself.
hey,
so
man,
that's fine.
I'm just sitting with some friends, but
Yeah, no, this is
but got to my platoon, told them, you know, I wanted to go canine. That's when, by the grace of God, I got to meet Sergeant Pierce and Sergeant Sands, and they said, hey, you got to come OJT on your free time, basically show us that you truly want it, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, all right, cool. At that time, I was going from fucking night shift to MCMAP training for the fucking Marine Corps straight to OJT. So I probably slept maybe fucking 3 hours every day while I was doing that whole process, but worth it at the end of the day, of course. But fucking did that tooth and nail for a few months. And then luckily they said, hey, we have a school seat coming up. We want you to be on it. I said, fuck yeah. So got that school seat and it's been a blessing ever since. Been canine world ever since fucking 2013 now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's a short story about how I got to the canine world.
Yeah, so for me, I came to the United States in 2008, right? So I was raised in Brazil, joined the Marine Corps in 2011. Basically, from that 3-year gap, I was trying to work jobs, trying to find something different, and I just wanted to find a way to better my life. I think like anybody who goes to the military police route, I wanted to be a cop at first. So there you go. I joined, I wanted to be an MP. Only found out afterwards you only get the 5800 code, so you could be a correction officer or an MP. Yeah. I got lucky. I know, hey, I want to hear some stuff too. I know you got the experience on it. I was a rookie. But when I went to Fort Leonard Wood, of course, for MP school, they talked about field MPs. And I was like, man, I don't even want to do PMO anymore. Like, I want a field MP. I don't know what that is, but I want it. Got lucky. And you're going to hear me say a lot of luck in this conversation, but got lucky. As soon as I got to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, Sergeant Daniels at the time, which is Master Sergeant Daniels now.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And that was like the first dude I saw. As soon as I got there with like everything, right? I got my not my ditty bag. What do you call it? The sea bag. I got my sea bag. I got everything with me. And Sergeant Daniel was the first one saying, aren't you guys interested in going canine? I said, hell yeah, that's what I want to do. I didn't even know canine existed. Bro, I'm checking into Bravo Company. I'm talking to my gunnery sergeant. I'm talking about checking in. He lines us all up, says, what do you guys want to do in 5 years? 5 years, 5 years. My words say, I want to go canine. I get chewed out. I'm not even like, I get lit up. So my introduction to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Long story short, though, what I got very fortunate was I had Staff Sergeant Whitmire, Griffin, and Sheridan, and they were really excited to have me on, mainly because I speak different languages, which was advantageous for them, especially with the deployments that they had at the time. But they were super excited about the opportunity of having somebody speak different languages. I go do my whole board process, get the K9, and yeah, that's like the start of it, right? So the rest of it is like people looking out for me in just right place, right time.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Man, because y'all are triggering a lot of memories because obviously, Racheal, we were in the same kennel starting out. So I remember what that was like when you said, MCMAP or working a shift, MCMAP, and then sleeping 3 hours and then going and doing some stuff with dogs or getting bit by them or cleaning kennels and all that good stuff. And then obviously, Josh, you mentioned Daniels, which is he ended up, I know him as Staff Sergeant Daniels at the time.
Okay.
He ended up being my kennel master in California. So
that's awesome.
super good dude, man.
Yeah, man, he's always been like nice to me. That's the thing. Like I had, and I got to credit is due. Like Daniels for sure, he's always nice to me. Even after he deployed, he got hit, came back, and like still the same dude. You know what I mean? Like obviously he went through his own stuff like anybody else would, of course, but he still retained like who Daniels is. You know what I mean? So I got to give credit is due, man. Same thing with Whitmire, Griffin, and Sheridan too. So like, if they do listen to this, because of those three, every time I see them, I always tell them like I'm in canine because of you guys. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So very fortunate.
Yeah, no, that's good. John, I saw you take some notes. I know pre-setting, John has never met, so it's kind of a one-sided thing. I know Josh and Racheal for years. John, do you have any questions or anything?
Yeah, I got like 15 questions. A lot of my writing was me toweling. We're at 20 right now, by the way, so I'm feeling pretty good.
All right, we're on the nose, Racheal, nothing else.
I'm out. I'm going to be out in the next 3.
Can you talk a little bit more about, I know we're kind of jumping back, but so I'm a rookie cop right now. Just started. I'm 6-7 months into it on the street and learning about fentanyl, and it's really prevalent in my area. It's I'd like to hear what you guys are doing with it as far as the canine side of it and kind of what that looks like.
Yeah, man. So this whole idea started off when, long story short, I was in South America working with a foreign entity, right? And part of the contract was introducing these guys to fentanyl. So I'm like, all right, too easy. So I pull on my contacts and I'm like, hey, I need somebody. There's a backstory to this. They need me to brief 300 of their higher ranking people. And I was like, okay, cool. So I started making phone calls. This was overnight. I'm sweating bullets. So I said, all right, I need to call some people that I trust. I can give you some solid information on it. And I get in contact with some chemists. They tell me the whole breakdown. Now my job is like, since they gave me the science behind it, is how does that correlate to what these guys are encountering? So that's a little fun fact. So I had to brief 300 people in it. And then they're like, okay, cool. Can you put it to use? And this is where creativity comes into play. 2 milligrams of fentanyl kills the average person weighing 180 pounds. So like myself, 2 milligrams is the weight of a snowflake, right? The average snowflake weighs 2 to 3 milligrams. For visual reference, the size of Abraham Lincoln's head on a penny is how much is a lethal dosage for fentanyl. With all that information, the reason I need all that information is, look, how do I want to teach my dogs to indicate on that odor? Conventionally speaking, people would teach dogs to get to source, especially narcotics. Dogs are a little more intrusive than we even want them to, but because it's narcotics, we allow them to. So dogs are getting intrusive. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, 2 milligrams is going to kill the average dog. The average dog is weighing anywhere from 65 to 75 pounds. So Rach and I brainstormed and we create the conditional response, meaning for any other substance odor within the realm of narcotics that is not toxic, get to source, right, pinpoint, all that good stuff, whatever response you got. When it comes to fentanyl specifically, we teach them the avoidant response. Now, avoidant doesn't mean that it's like abusive, doesn't mean that we correct them to have negative association, but basically when they get to the trace amount of odor, the closest trace amount of odor possible, meaning the one that's furthest away from source, I want them to back away. And so that's like where that really inspired and that happened was all in South America. At that point in time, it really kicked off and more people got interested in it. That's how we created the conditional response with fentanyl. And that's like, we just got June of this year, we just briefed that in the UK, the United Kingdom. And then literally the beginning of this month is where I was in Mexico briefing the same capability.
That is awesome. I know fentanyl's it seems like it's spreading everywhere. And
yeah, what's tough about it, my apologies, what's tough about it is there's so many variants to it, right? So you have fentanyl, carfentanil, then you have the synthetic, then you have the one that's legally procured by hospitals. And also too, not only does the original odor, I'm a nerd, bro, so I'm so sorry about this.
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
Like you open
This is what we
Pandora's
want.
box, right? Like her F-bombs is me getting like into a topic. But
Perfect.
but not only do you have like the target odor specifically, depending where it's manufactured, how it's manufactured, the odor is already manipulated. But also you have synthetics like carfentanil that are very similar, but drastically different. You know what I mean? So 100%, man, it's janky. So our goal with the conditional response is to teach dogs to generalize and associate that anytime they encounter something similar to fentanyl or sympathetic, if you want to call it sympathetic to fentanyl, we want that avoidant response because at that point, you no longer need to know where it's at. At that point, you put your dog up, you get your PPE, right? Your personal protection equipment, and now the whole mission changes. Yeah. So that's like the ideology behind it.
I like that because there's a lot of dogs right now. If you watch them train on fent that are pushing close to odor, and it's rough. I pray no dog like kicks a large amount of fentanyl up in the air, let alone the dog getting exposed, but handlers and other cops as well. I goofed on my first traffic stop where a guy was a fent user. I dumped the bag out because I thought it was just paraphernalia in the bag. Dumped it, AC's blown in the car, and I jumped back so fast. Like they pulled me away. They're like, "Hey, rookie, like AC always goes off." Like,
yeah, okay. I never
Darn.
thought about it either. That's good though, because I've never thought about that. Yeah, I'll turn it off. You knew that? Well, I mean, traffic stops. Don't you mean? See.
I'm sorry, Phil. I'm sorry, Phil.
You guys are hearing like new tactics and shit. I'm like, I almost had to wing this whole podcast by myself. No, we always joke about John, like something happened and we were like, dude, we need to record as much episodes as possible, have them backlogged. Man, dang.
But
No.
the cool thing with fentanyl, my bad. Just I'll shut up.
No, you're good. Don't ever apologize. You're good.
No, I get excited about it.
No.
The cool thing about fentanyl that we did with the foreign entity was anytime there was cocaine by itself, source. Cocaine blended with fentanyl, avoidant response. So like just understand like the hybrids between, right? Like not masking odor, it's not masking odor because they're still target odors, but the combination of odors, we still created that avoidant response. So that was super cool to see.
That's what I was gonna ask. How do you teach that? Like if it's laced with something, you know?
So it wasn't as hard as you thought. Like what got janky was like the lack of patience from the hounds, because I'm only there for X amount of time. And once I leave, like anything else, like you give your best, right? You brain dump as much as you can. But then the knowledge goes, because I left, was that they started making like an avoidant response with a negative association. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Yeah.
Which is not the goal. So that did end up happening, but they still have success. So like these guys we found a lot of drugs out there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
Yeah, we'll continue that one off.
My bad.
No, you're good. I told you, man, like do your thing. Like you guys talk, like I love it. But
I appreciate it.
I'm just trying to keep up with like people listening. I'm like, all right, they probably don't want to go listen to yeah, to a degree, I don't care. But
that's for us.
But there's a lot of the other topics I want to cover as well. But yeah, that's interesting. All right, so now let's ping pong. Racheal, so what y'all do? I know you guys do a lot of seminars and travel a lot. We'll say the working dog side, police, military, whichever. I know recently you guys started doing more of the patrol aspect and doing that stuff. So if you can kind of just share like what you're seeing, trends, things that you would, recommend people try to look at from a different lens, that type of thing.
Yeah, man. So especially more on the military aspect, not so much on the civilian side. What I see a shitload of right now is a lot of dogs being so fucking overstimulated. These dogs it's like a play-by-play that a lot of these handlers are doing. It's like, okay, we're going to only do patrol in this area. We're going to only use fucking sleeves. We're only going to do X, Y, or Z. It's like, hold the fuck on. There's a lot more that we need to be nitpicking, because you guys are literally just doing a routine. It's not even, you guys aren't even training. You guys aren't even, advancing by any means. Like you guys are literally just doing a picture perfect element every damn time. Like this dog doesn't even know what the fuck it's supposed to be doing, honestly. Because if I throw a wrench in you guys, then they would crash and burn, right? And they're like, oh my God, like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, man, like there's a lot more that goes into patrol. And it's because, unfortunately, right, especially at least in the military side mostly, is like getting bites is like a fucking 1 in a million chance, right? But we've heard stories in the field where they set these dogs out, and because of the fucking step-by-step shit that we do, the dogs didn't bite that person. And it's like, well, no shit, because you guys aren't not setting these dogs up for success. You're not setting up for realistic things. And then a lot of these strong dogs that I see with bite work is that people are very, 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 very hard-handed in the sense of compulsion-based, right? Dog doesn't do something, they don't try to figure out why the dog's not doing something. They're just correcting the dog. And it's like, well, why is the dog not outing? Why is the dog not able to hold a fucking sit? Like, there's a lot more behaviors, I think, that are fortunately kind of being pushed on the rug just because the knowledge isn't as great as it used to be. I think it's kind of dwindling out in the sense of, we're not at war as much anymore, things like that. People are getting the fuck out. And unfortunately, like the passion in the canine world, to me, I will say, has gone down. There isn't that fire. There isn't that competition with one another. It's like a 9 to 5 for a lot of these handlers. And it's like, wait, y'all got the best fucking job. And we always tell them when we go to the kennels, like, this is your prime time, man. Like, you're gonna fucking miss this shit when you get out. Like, enjoy every second, even the shit that you fucking ate. Like, enjoy that shit, because it's gonna be gone and you're gonna be like, oh fuck, like they were right. And I'm like, yeah, I told you so. So especially in the patrol world, it's just a lot of just the same shit every day, all day. And that's where I see the biggest hindrance for sure. In regards to especially military side. When it comes to the civilian aspects, patrol wise, fuck, man. Like, I'll tell you, what I have had the pleasure of working with, they're monsters. They do some cool shit. They're fucking always pressing those dogs. They're always advancing their fucking dogs. I have a lot of fun with them because they're always hungry. They're always fucking just trying to make these dogs fucking more and more of a monster. So I've really enjoyed on that aspect of kind of just thinking outside the box and what they do a little bit different. Because obviously the spectrum from military side to civilian side is a huge vast difference. Because of course they want to get all the fucking bites, and then of course the military is like, oh well, we have to make sure the fucking sun and the moon's fucking aligning correctly before. And it's like, I don't know. So yeah, man, that's what I would say for sure, and especially out, man. Out for some reason is the hardest fucking command, both on the fucking patrol side and the obedience side. It's like, how in the fuck? Why is the out the hardest thing ever right now? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Here, Josh, I
Spoiler
want you
alert,
to.
that's actually what I'm making.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we were just talking earlier, and I was like, I think let's talk about outs and stuff like that. Before we go on that tangent, Josh, what is your? Because I know patrol is not just bites and stuff like that. I know I've seen you work some obedience stuff as well, and you guys tag team. You do well with that stuff. So please give us your input.
So bite work, I'm not like by any means am I anything close to experience on it. I fall back for Racheal 100% on it. She's a savant, you know what I mean? I will say, like, what I do see more is that the military side, they have more control of their dogs.
Yeah.
And that the military does have more control of their dogs. When I look at your average PD, understand this, because I'm not attacking the police, the law enforcement entities. I was just working with Philadelphia. Man, amazing guys. I saw them, I'm excited to work with them. I have worked with other agencies where I'm like, what are we doing right now? And the handler's scared of getting bit. That dog has to be working all the time. That dog has to be doing something. Like the chief can't even give a brief because the dog's yapping in the back. So I see a lot, even though I don't know shit about bite work and I have to call a spade, I do see a lot of like military too, where they don't know how to cap a dog appropriately. And even on social media, which is like a slippery slope. I use social media for direct to market us, but even on social media, they say they show people like having a dog sit before it goes for a bite and says this dog drives cat. It's like, no, man, that's foreplay at its finest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I see within the working dog community. Because I won't say just patrol work, but I'll say detection work too. You know what I mean? So that's my thing. It's just like really make sure the dog understands like what's going on there, and not just, oh, this is the pattern. It's like, this is what I'm about to do. This is why I'm about to do it, and this is the stimulus. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest thing.
Yeah, no, and that's excellent because that's something that like I'm trying to teach now. Like I find myself delving in more. It's not so much the big event, like we get it, he bites or he can sit and all that. It's the context, the stimulus control within that. Is it contextual? Does it has to be
For sure.
A kinetic thing where I'm placed in this position, like you said, Racheal, the moon has to be right here, and then all of a sudden you can sit and all this stuff. And so those are the things I'm looking at more deep into, like the nuances and trying to incorporate that. And I think the biggest, I'll say roadblock on that one, or speed bump, if you will, is like the human component, because from what I understand of dogs, and I'm not you, Josh. I don't have a degree in psychology.
No such thing.
Don't be humble now. No, but honestly, I don't know like that type of stuff. But from what I understand of dogs, like in really delving into it, is that our human mindset and the dog's mindset are like almost polar opposites. And to bridge that gap it's a very giant hurdle to overcome, to say, okay, now I'm going to look at it from your lens and then take it back into the human component, and how can I, communicate that and interpret it. I'm sorry, John, I think you had something. I cut you off.
No, you're good. Kind of going back to what you're saying about seeing less control on the PD side of things. One thing I definitely notice, if you go to a good department that's got really good dogs, the handlers are on top of, they've got good control, they can truly cap a dog. You don't see those handlers without their dogs. If they're hanging out like in a group together, if they're out, they constantly have those dogs out, teaching them how to relax and be a part of just the day-to-day life. And I see a lot of departments, like you won't even know who's a canine handler because they don't get the dog out the car unless it's supposed to go bite something. And every time they come out, they're wound up, everybody's running, handlers are getting bit, people are getting bit, it's steer clear. That's definitely, to me, that's where you can kind of differentiate. If I see a dog out consistent, I'm like, this department probably is doing something right, or they're at least trying to. versus just a
No.
month end of a leash.
100%. And I think that goes to the military too. You know what I mean? So that's like that's why I said it's both hand in hand. Like there are dogs out there that I've seen. It's like, is that dog good because you put the time and effort into it, or someone put the time and effort into it before you? Right. And I was
Yeah, that's
just,
a good
you know what I
point.
mean? Like
Yeah, no, that's
it's
a.
a
I mean,
truth, bro. Yeah.
it's true. Yeah.
And there's a difference too. But like I would say this is where I'm a deviate a little bit because there's pros and cons to both PD, in my experience, from law enforcement side and the military side. The biggest con I'll say within the law enforcement side, in my opinion, is the investment in schooling too. And I am a critic. And this is, I back the Blues, support law enforcement. We do a lot of work with law enforcement because I believe in the work they do. And I believe they do it selflessly, which is something important. I just wish the schools that they go to believed in it as much as I do. So when you go to a school that's 3 weeks long for detection, man, I was on an ammo camp for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's and military reference for ammo cans is like, that's what we had a leash and we named our ammo can. But I think that's a disservice to the people who are putting themselves at stake for us every single day. And I think that also reflects into the community too, because it's such a wow factor, such a quick 3-week process that we don't get to even get nitty gritty into it. You know what I mean? And then you get people like us, and I'm talking about the dog's psychology. I'm talking about the dog's feelings. They're like, man, just tell me what to do. I'm like, no, bro, you need to understand. You need to understand the why. You need to understand the why.
No, 100%.
Why is everything?
Yeah, and that's you're hitting all the stuff like that I love. You know, it sucks that like a dog can go through a 3-week course and you can only imagine what that looks like. Like you can only cramp. In the comparison that I use with people that I work with and stuff like that is like, you know, imagine you go through what in America we go through damn near 15 years of schooling, and we condense it down. We say no, it's only good for like 2. You know everything you need to know in 2 years, from how to spell or how to even recognize a letter to you'll be able to do algebra, mixing math and letters. 2 years ago, you know, and I'm like, what would you do with that? You know, you're only going to take in so much. And I'm like, and a lot of it, I'm trying to be somewhat political, but like a lot of stuff is at the foundational level. So some things they cannot help, you know, because this dog from vendors, from, you know, wherever, you know, if they started out in Lackland, those things, you know, they're inheriting things that have already been conditioned and, you know, in the dog just by experience and exposure, whether directly influenced or intentionally influenced rather. And, you know, people are not aware of that. And it's weird because I love dog training, but that's the scary side. I'm like, dude, you know, I'm just now kind of seeing, you know, being mindful of every little thing from, like I was telling John earlier today, I'm like, I've had trainers where I'm like, all right, somebody grab a dog. And boom, they go and they're about to go. And I'm like, I stop. I'm like, hey, what are you about to do? And they go, oh, well, you know, they don't even know what they're doing to go pull. And for me, like when I walk and I go to pull a dog, I'm thinking, all right, what's the setup? What's this dog? Who's this? You know, and everything. Where do we leave off? Those are the things that I go, you know, think about. Okay, what about this and all these scenarios? And then as I'm pulling them, you know, and things like that. So those are considerations. So I think it draws back to the foundation, of course, which sometimes can be in, you know, you can help or not, but really the opposite in release. The concentration is on the dog, but not so much the human. And
For sure.
yeah, with that, since we're already on the psychology or somewhere, I'm trying to keep it in there, dude. I have goosebumps because I'm excited about that stuff. But if you can talk about like the psychology or however you guys want to tag team it, but like the psychology and actually the emotional stuff that correlates with training as best as you can, you know, like tap
Man,
in.
I'll keep that short as possible. I can talk about this all day.
No, you're good.
No, oh, you.
She's like nerd.
Yeah, like nerd alert. No, man, I'll keep that short as possible. So, like, I think the biggest thing is like, there's 2 things that we know. So, first of all, I'll backstep. Our biggest objective is to alter the perception of how these handlers work their dogs. Right? Oftentimes, there's too much negative association, meaning he's too stubborn, he's belligerent, he's trying to punk me out, he's trying to take advantage of me, and it's like, or he's doing what you taught. Like instead of using all these emotional words, we could say like, or he's just a reflection of what I've conditioned him to do. You know, so I think that's the biggest thing is the perception thing to it. And so that's our biggest area of focus. Our biggest area of focus is presenting psychological theories that allows the handler to understand or at least gain a better notion of how the dog's operating. And it's not with malicious intent. The second thing to be would be like, we know there's two forms of reasoning. I've talked about this all the time. And in life, there's abstract reasoning and rationale reasoning. Abstract thinking are the conversations we have today. This is all abstract, right? The purpose of life. What are we doing? What can the community do better? These are out of the norm thinking. Then you have rationale thinking, meaning I'm hungry, I can go hunt. Or in this case, I'm hungry, order pizza. That's rationale. 1 + 1 = 2. Very, very rationale. When we talk about dogs that have malice or malicious intent is defined, that's the intent, is to pursue malice, and that's their reasoning. But at that point, you're saying that animals have abstract reasoning. And up until this point, we identify that dogs have rationale reasoning, meaning I do this so I can get X, Y, and Z. So there's a paradigm shift right there with how we're trying to get handlers to think differently. More importantly is, if we give the animals the authority to be malicious or think at an abstract format, we now create excuses, because if you're intentionally malicious, I can't change you unless you want to change you. You know what I mean? So now we're giving power to that. If we go back to what they really are thinking, which is rationale and more of conditioning process, now we come up with solutions. So not only are we creating the handlers more creativity and being like, oh crap, you're not trying to tell me to go screw myself. What you're trying to do is get the toy, or what you're trying to do is you want to go work. Now, instead of creating excuses saying that he's belligerent and malicious and all this stuff, now we're saying he's confused, I'm not clear enough, or he's jumping the gun, which is you're seeing initiative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like there's way more psychological theories. You've heard me talk before, White, so you know how I go. But that's like the synopsis of like our philosophy and our belief with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I like it, man, because it changes, like you said, just the question of what you're looking at. And I'll go on a little tangent on 2 different dogs that I just experienced. You know, you guys can do whatever with it. But like I was telling John of a story, like I worked a dog, we had her in a detection scenario, whatever, she did that. And then I took the handler and the dog outside. We were doing some like sit drills, essentially. So, and for me, I'm super greedy. So she's already been out working for about 45 minutes. Anyways, it was going well. She's, you know, we're trying to reinforce her standing and incompatible behaviors, all that good stuff, and trying to condense down the signals of sitting is just verbally from the handler and all that, not cue based off of positioning and all this other stuff. And she's doing well. We're like, man, this is great. And then all of a sudden, sit, and she just stood, and like I could see, and I'm looking at her, and she's like, no, thank you. And so I was like, all right, she's done, put her up. And the other guy, he panicked. He was like, well, no, she didn't respond and all that. And I was like, she doesn't want to, dude. It's 80 degrees. The way that I play with her is pretty vigorous, and she enjoys it. And then obviously she's tired. She's panting, and she's like, if that is what's going to lead to this next thing where I'm going to chase this Kong and do this little marathon with you, no, thank you. I want to go to the trailer. I'm done with this. And if a person would tell me that, I would say, yeah, go sit down, you know, and all that. And I'm like, so before we hold her accountable, which is a very dangerous word if you don't understand it, criteria and all that. And I'm like, if we hold her to an expectation that she just did and not, you know, realize everything in totality that she's experienced, she is just saying, in my, you know, my thought process, maybe I'm tired, dude. Let's call it good.
And there's a cool thing with that too, man. If you think about it, like, one, you've already said that the dog's already having success with that behavior multiple times within 45 minutes. So at that point, you no longer see defiance. If it was defiance, it would have been met early on, right?
Right.
And here's where I translate to people this a lot. That's a real good example. Is like, the cool thing about somebody who has that ability to, one, have success at a repetitive time, to understand the dog knows the task. There's no kinetic cues based off the dog understands sit for sit. When that transfers over to operationally into the search, do you expect your dog to sit on odor if it's searching for an extended period of time? So now what you've identified, and mind you, this is a gray area. So I know there's rabbit holes, and whoever's listening can poke holes on it, which I'm all about it. But understand this. If we're talking about explosives, if you wait for your dog to sit, it's no longer your problem. Might as well pass the buck to someone else. Because if the dog sits, it's too late. But realistically, what you just identified is how the dog handles a task when it's tired. So while it's working in detection, right? Now you understand that, oh, damn, she normally always sits. There's transfers of learning. Let's just skip forward and let's say she's on odor all the time.
Yeah.
But now she's on a 45-minute search and she gets to odor. She's like, you already have identified her change of behavior. You know she's tired, but you know she's on odor. You know what I mean? So
Right.
there is, in that observation of the behavior, there's a real cool transference of learning into the operational environment too. So that's like that's a cool teaching point for like handlers to see. You know what I mean?
No, that's good. Yeah.
I'll shut up, bro. My bad.
No.
No,
I
that's
told you
perfect.
from the beginning.
Oh, I know,
We're
bro.
here
But
for.
like, look, hey,
Yeah.
you got this beautiful redhead beside me, who, first of all, I gotta say this: the creation of Paws and Footprints goes to her. I know we're gonna tackle that anyway,
Yeah.
but she created Paws and Footprints. She's a savant. The way I train dogs today, and I'm being for real too. Like I say this in front of everybody, the way I train dogs today, 99% of it is 100% because of her. Yeah. Okay, bro. Let me tell you this: my introduction to people, my introduction to handlers was like anything bad you've done, you can already believe I've already done it. Like that was the culture I grew up in, was compulsion based. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I have no. Yo, can you guys hear me now?
No,
Yeah.
you're good. Yeah, no worries.
Somebody called me, so like it like did some weird stuff.
No, you're good.
Like so going back to it was, I tell all the handlers this was like, there's nothing bad that you can do that I haven't done worse. That's the reality of it. That's the culture I was raised in. Canine in 2012 compared to canine in 2025, ordering in 2026, drastically different. But more importantly, what I tell them too is, I don't punish myself, or I don't hate myself for it, because I didn't know any better. The point in time I know better and I go back to that, there lies a problem.
Yeah.
So going back to this whole conversation, like I go on rants, exhibit A, but understand like the success that we have today, thankfully, is not because of support, but start off with her. You know what I mean? And take the fucking credit. It's true. Just take the credit.
Oh my God, we'll
Just
be
take the
here
credit.
all
Sorry,
night.
just take the credit.
We'll give it to Racheal.
Yeah, just
No,
take
but
the
Like
credit.
moving
honestly-
off the camera, she's like, oh.
Yeah, no, I mean, we already said we'll be all over the place, so that's no secret.
Yeah, my bad, bro.
No.
I don't help the
There's
case.
no.
I don't help the case.
I don't care. I mean, what are they gonna do? They're just gonna click off and be like, no, I don't want to listen. That's fine. No, I do this like man, I'm all over the place now. But no, we do this for like to have genuine conversations, like, and whoever wants to listen, that's great. This whole podcast all started because of Jon. Now we're being, but no, but it started because of Jon. He was like, dude, we talk for hours. Why don't we just do the podcast? Half the stuff we talk about, we see on social media and stuff. And like, we have different things. And then once we started doing the interviews, we were like, all right, well, now we have a network. We can put people on a potential platform, even if it's only ones or twosies. Somebody can have an effect and maybe change something, or do something better. But no, like you said, dude, I think it's Nelson Mandela that said something about it's such a weird community in canine, but the only way you can have true like change is if everybody can acknowledge, their fault in the situation. So like what you said about, yes, I've done some bad things, uneducated, left to my own devices. Yes, I've done, I can admit to that. And that's a good point. But it's once you're educated, do you continue and do you say, no, it's easier to do this, vice, take the effort and do something better for the animal and all that stuff. But here, so I'll give one, I'll throw one to Racheal. So you mentioned about Paws and Footprints, how it started, the name and everything. So Racheal, I know you from years ago, obviously. We started out in the kennels. How did you get into now what you do tell us what y'all do as a company, what you do, and then, how you got into.
Oh, God bless. So here at Paws and Footprints, our specialty in the pet sector for sure is behavior modification. So we deal with a lot of aggressive dogs. If it's not fear aggressive, it's resource. It's the whole gambit. We deal with a lot of dogs that are ass eaters, and I'll tell you, I'm more scared of fucking pet dog ass eaters than I am fucking military Alito all day, every day. My guy, like, they fucking will wreck you without even thinking twice sometimes.
Dude, yeah, 100%.
But that's what we specialize in the pet sector. Obviously, we're blessed in the sense of that we work alongside of military, law enforcement, other government agencies. We also have done government contracts. So we've been blessed in the sense of doing damn near fucking everything with Paws and Footprints. Super, super grateful to say the least. How did we get here? Man, it was a journey. I didn't ever think. So when I got out of the military, I worked through a franchise in the pet world. And when I was working there, I learned a lot more business and people than I did dogs. I'll tell you, I didn't learn shit dog wise while I was there, but definitely with people and dog and business wise, I learned a lot. got picked up with Homeland Security, worked there, and that's where I'll tell you, man, I mind blown, especially in the detection world. I didn't know shit. Didn't know anything. And when I got there, I learned so much. Met amazing trainers. It got to a point though while I was there, I just felt like I wasn't doing enough in the dog world. I felt like I could reach more people in a bigger and more, I'd say, personal aspect. Obviously, DHS can be very systematic, right? So it can be just like we do in the military. It's kind of it's a running machine. There isn't a whole lot of time to develop, your own personal bonds or relationship with either dog or person. You can obviously touch base, but it's just not the same. And that's where I was like, you know what? What if we did our own thing? What if we open up our own business and see if we can make that touch that we've always talked about in the dog world? And I jumped ship in the hype of COVID for whatever fucking reason, but I did. And we've been fucking here, fucking hooking and jabbing ever since. We've never had a time where we've regretted it or, thought this was a wrong choice. Honestly, man, it's been amazing. I can't express enough how grateful we are for everybody that has supported us and continues to honestly allow us to open doors to educate handlers, dogs, in every aspect, both on the pet side and the government side. It's been badass, honestly, man.
So, quick question for you, Racheal, because me and Sean were kind of talking about this, and we've been really into training is cool, right? Like you can make a dog sit fast, lay down, heel. That's all cool. We've been really invested in living with dogs, lifestyle, making sure they're in the right mental frame of mind, and how that kind of blends into training. And he said you were the right person to ask about that on the pet side and the working dog side. So I'd like to hear your kind of philosophy or thought on that.
Shoot, man, to be honest, the way I like to describe it is like I treat every dog as their own. So it doesn't matter if it's pet side or fucking government side, Leo side, whatever the case may be. Like every dog I touch, I'm like, how would I want that dog to be mine? How would I want that dog to be able to achieve X, Y, and Z? How would I want this dog to be able to look at this outlet? And I think that just makes me every day check in with myself as a trainer or as a fucking instructor, whatever the case may be, to be able to make sure I'm guiding appropriately because I'm taking that specific individual dog or that specific individual person and I make them to that product that I want them to be able to achieve or work through or whatever the case may be. And I think that's where unfortunately we get lost, right? In the dog world, we get into ruts. We get into, oh fuck, here we go again, or whatever the case may be. But if you can constantly just remind yourself, like, this was my fucking dog, like, how would I want this dog to be able to do X, Y, and Z? Or how would I want this dog to be even treated? You know what I mean? And I think that's a huge valuable point that us as, especially as business owners, that we have to kind of always remind ourselves.
Reminds me of a conversation I had with a good buddy of me and Sean, Travis Lloyd. We talk about of course, as dog trainers, we bitch about man, I got this dog coming or fuck, just to kind of get it out to people that can relate. But we had to take a step back the other day because we were like, we have to remember we get to work with these dogs. When we first got into it, we would have done anything for somebody to hand a dog over to us and let us work with it and bond with it and kind of build that relationship. I know I've got a behavior mod coming in 2 weeks. Husky almost took the boyfriend's finger off, and he's a resource guarder, and he's also fear aggressive, and it's going to be a fun one. But something I was talking to Travis about is I don't take a lot of B mods. I will say it here right now. My B mod prices are high as hell because I don't want you to send me please don't send me the dog, because the emotional baggage that comes with it. You get so personally invested in the owners and the training and the dog and how they succeed. The worst dog I've had to train to date, who I just sent home a couple weeks ago, and he's coming back for 3 more weeks of boarding. I talk to this lady weekly. We've had communication for the last 2 years, and the dog's doing a lot better now, but that takes up time. That's a relationship that now has a lot of value, and we have to keep that up. So every time I accept one, I'm like, oh, I got to put this into my life. I got to compartmentalize and be prepared for this, because I'm emotionally invested in how this goes once we start. How do you guys kind of manage that? Any tips? I love the every dog like it's mine. I'm going to probably put that somewhere in my office, my training room, and you keep that in mind. That'll make it a lot easier. But as far as doing the behavior modifications, what got you into that? Why do you focus in that area?
So I like it. I'll say I think So Rachel started off the company, right? Got to a point where she had to say no to clients. I said, no, we're not going to do that. I jumped ship. Now I'm here. We started getting the aggressive dogs. And like, I'll say for me specifically, I want to hear your opinion too, actually, but for me, like I started getting excited by it. You know what I mean? There was a track record. Let's not be fooled. There was a track record. I was going to the ER twice a year on average.
On average.
On average.
Sometimes it was like
Yeah.
fucking
Let's
5.
let it not like. There's no dog whisperer. No. I got sent to the hospital a lot. I'm sorry, a lot. So much so I got like some nerve damage on my right hand because of it. So like you see, I do this one, but this hand, this is as good as it's gonna get. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to like, there ain't no C on this one. Just I got nerve damage. Sorry. But I'm really excited. I really liked it. And then what I saw too, and this is the pet sex community, what I saw too, man, was the people who had those dogs, their investment behind it. There was something I could reach out more to those people because they actually cared versus I love the doodles. I love the little labs that have nothing wrong with them. I love them. But I love it even more when a client is as invested as I am. You know what I mean? And I say as I am, but we're both invested. So I can say as invested as we are. With your behavior mods, with the aggressive dogs, you see them breaking in tears. And there's a cool thing. So one, the dog just excites us. I love working with these type of dogs. But the client interaction where I say, hey, look, is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Yes. Can we do it? Yes. Are you gonna have to change your lifestyle?
Yes.
Hell yes. And they're like, let's do it, Josh. And then I do most of the client interaction. I do most of the client, as I said, let's do it, Josh. But then they pick up and they say 4 weeks, 4 months on the road. Josh, I tried to do this, and this, but it didn't work out. Hey, didn't you tell me you were going to step up? Do you not remember when you called me 4 months ago crying? And now there's a level of accountability too, where because of the severity of the behavior, I'm able to build that bond with them where it is like, not only am I going to train your dog, but you're also going to represent me anytime that dog is out in the street. So now they know like, and I am very transparent. I'm professional, but I am transparent. Where like, there's an investment from not only us, we already talked about that, but also on their end. And there's an accountability, not only from their end, but also from our end too. You know what I mean? Actually, the coolest case, sorry, I got a couple of coughs.
No, you're good.
One of the coolest cases that we worked, Wolfie.
I was a good one. Yeah.
From Oklahoma. This wolf hybrid, anything it chased, it wanted to kill and eat. And they were okay with it because it had some land until it started chasing their daughter. And now you already see 1 + 1 = 2, right? Rational thinking. And they were like, hey, is there a way to do it? I said, yeah, there is. Sure. But we need time, which is that's another key ingredient. I need time. Like we can't do this in 2 weeks. They believed in us. They gave us enough time. This dog, even though I don't recommend this part, is still a success story. This dog goes to doggy daycare.
Yeah, and they got another.
And they got another dog, and the daughter's walking the dog all the time now. And I think like, to keep tabs, we trained this dog, 3-4 years ago? 3-4 years ago, I promise you there's not a single holiday. It could be St. Patrick's Day. They message us, happy St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. Just a photo from Wolfie. You know what I mean? So there's an investment that really, really plays it. I get invested. I get excited just talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, Rachel, we'll let you finish up. But yeah, what you were saying as far as client feedback, like, I know off the top, like two of my clients, like they sent me videos, they were like doing the work, and that's what does it for me. Like, I'm like,
oh yeah,
all right, you're in it. Like, you're gonna do this stuff, and they're doing it, and they're upholding the integrity of the training and all that stuff, and it's great. Yeah, I'm sorry, that just triggered me. I'm like, man, that's the stuff that's awesome. All right, Rachel, what's your viewpoint?
Man, when it comes to behavior modification, I'll say the same. You, Jon, I'm like, oh, like here we go, right? Because you never know how it's gonna go. You don't know how long it's gonna take to break that, threshold or bubble where that dog's character is gonna truly show. Like you'll get the fucking ass eater, but it takes them 2 weeks to show that ass eater, and you're like, what just happened here, my guy? But like, I'll tell you, like, I love the sense of behavior mod dogs because it goes again to what I said initially of like, that dog truly values you. That dog truly fucking looks at you and's like a breath of fresh air. Like, you understand what I'm doing. Yeah, I fucked up or I'm about to fuck up, but like, you're not fucking, putting me through the ringer, or you're not fucking making me, crash and burn. It's like, no, buddy, like, I'm trying to understand you. And that's where like I love is like when you finally crack them and they understand and they're like, oh shit, like this person's fucking cool. It's like, yeah, buddy, like this is all I wanted is just to have a good time with you. And we can do all this other crazy shit. That's always my little fucking just like breath of fresh air. When I finally get that crack, I'm like, I'm poking now, my guy. Like now we're gonna be best friends. But yeah, like I'll tell you, like there's times where I'm like, oh my god, like you're like banging your head against the wall a little bit because you're like, just help me, my buddy. Like let's get through this together. And they're like, no, fuck you. I'm gonna keep doing this. It's like, no, stop doing it. Like I need you to help me because you know we used to get a lot of dogs that were super bad at like kennel anxiety.
Yeah.
Super bad with kennel anxiety, and they were like literally killing themselves trying to get out of kennel sometimes. And it was just like, holy hell, like those were the dogs that it was just like you had to just unwrap just a kennel. It's like, oh my gosh, like we're like going to like the basic of basic things that we shouldn't be struggling with. But like obviously, you know, if we're taking these dogs in, they have to be in a kennel at some point. And just to break through that was just, I mean, man, like we're crazy in the sense of like we sleep with client dogs in a spare room sometimes because of how bad they are. Like we will do everything to like truly show this dog like, hey, my guy, like we have you, we're gonna support you, we're gonna take care of you. So then, you know, we're a little fucking crazy in that sense of just, you know, we like I said, we invest everything in these client dogs and bars.
Yes, we do, and that's what that is for sure. And I guess like we're venting, like they said, keep it organic, but it's like I don't think people understand. Even the average trainer, I know that puts their own blood and sweat and tears, but like I'll say compared to the average trainer, they don't understand how much blood, sweat, and tears we put in. Like, that dog, when I'm up in the morning, we get up 4:45, 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. The first thing we do is take care of those dogs. You know what I mean? Going to sleep, man. I don't know how many times I slept in the bed in the spare bedroom, and it's not because she kicked me out. You know what I mean? Sure. It's because we got a dog. It's because we got a dog that is that severe. That behavior is that severe. Or Racheal has slept on the couch beside a dog to gradually start introducing more space so the dog can like learn how to be further away. So like there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears behind it. And if we've done this before, don't do this. If you don't do this, we've done it before. The amount we charge times it by hour per hour that we're working and the dog's with us, man.
You never get it. No.
Yeah,
You'll never get the compensation.
No, don't do it.
I don't even I don't even think about
Yeah. We did it like just as conversation, man, but like yeah, for sure. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears behind it. Well, that dog's with us 24/7. We're targeting. It's not just can you sit, can you place, can you do this? It's like, can you relax? And like the click the crack that Racheal referenced was like their eyes, man. Once you see their eyes relax, and that's when you're like, yo, that's when I know I'm cooking with something. So that's the exciting piece for sure.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things like what do they say? If you know, you know. Like when you see,
you know, that's a good one.
Yeah, you see the dog, and for me, I always interpret it as like, oh shit, you're actually here to help me. Like
100%.
you know, and I'm like, yes, thank you. Like, yeah, like
I've been trying to tell you that for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like yes, every step of the way, of course. But no, it's a magical. Yeah, you can't. It's hard to articulate. Honestly.
No.
Yeah, I'm already. The lady I have coming in a couple weeks. I told her like she's already spent about $12,000 in training with some other trainers. She's flown the dog to out of state to some trainers. I told her I was like, you need to really think about this as an investment on my part, your part. There's going to be ongoing. It's going to be management, lifestyle, some training. I said take 2 days and call me back. And she called me back and she's like, I want to do it. I feel like you're the right person. I was like, fuck. I was like, all right, let's do it. Like,
here we go.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. One thing I want to kind of tap in if you guys are up to it, you know, whatever, dealing with like aggression, you know, aggressive dogs. And I'm going to pinpoint you, Josh, only because when you did the seminar at Lackland, obviously I was in and out, but I did get to hear that part and I told John about it. I was like, dude, that's interesting. So if you can, as much as you care to, both of y'all elaborate on, I want to paint the scenario from what I remember was like, you know, I'm going to do a poor job of paraphrasing what you said, but like, you know, you have the dog on a place or whatever, you're trying to pet it or whatever at a tree.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Story. Yeah. And then you take it for a walk. So if you can kind of carry the story.
Yeah, man. So basically we already know like the quadrant. We understand for the most part, we should understand the quadrant. There's too much of a generic answer where people say the quadrant, you have to use physical force for positive punishment, right? Specifically. And within like psychology, we came up, and I think you came up with that corrective action.
Yeah, I don't even remember
there was one dog that we were like, this is cool.
Yeah, there's just something that's just threw out there.
So through trial and error, right? Like that's the story of our lives is trial and error, man. We ended up seeing that for your most intense aggressive dogs, and the example that I gave was like, there's a specific dog that I sit by a tree. Literally, if you go to my house, I'll show you the tree. I always sit by it. And anytime I try to like just pet the dog. Starts growling or tries to come up leash or whatever, they're always muzzled. Of course they're muzzled. I take them for a walk. And this walk is like, if you want to be in the hippieisms, we'll call it a reflective walk. I'm not interacting with you. I'm not talking to you. I'm just taking you for a walk. Obviously, the first time they're like, whatever, I get to go smell. I get to go, this is exciting. So one could argue it is positive reinforcement for the behavior. And I go back to the same tree. Try to do the same thing. Let the dog digest a little bit, think about life. And those pauses that I do in these behaviors, that's the key piece, is that thinking. I don't want them in fight or flight, right? I don't want the amygdala kicking off. I don't want the limbic system going off. I want them to actually be present in the moment. And I try to do it one more time. And then they do it again. I take them for a walk. Through time, and I'll do this, I've done it 5, 6, 7 times. What ends up happening, though, is that novelty factor of the walk that some people will argue was positive reinforcement now is mundane. It's already predicted. It's no longer novelty. So now the dog's like, what the hell do you want from me? And that right there is the behavior I'm trying to get, is like, think about what you're doing. So, and I'm telling you, man, I get my steps in. I get some steps in. Like, the reason I'm this skinny is because I get my steps in. You know what I mean? So we do it again. And it gets to a point, man, where I'll go back to the same tree. And I've done this multiple times. I'll pet, no growl. Ears are still back, tail still tucked, still a little like that. You got that little like bolt to it, but there's no like coming at me anymore. There's no growl. There's nothing else. I say good, and I'll put them up. And what you see, man, and we'll put them up for like an hour. Let them sit in the kennel for an hour. 1, they're tired as hell from walking so many times. But 2, they're digesting what the hell just happened. For me to get the dog out a second time, it's so easy. It is so easy, because now they're like, don't trust you. It's not like a ShamWow. It's not a miracle worker. But you see them being like, what do you want from me? And at that point, now what I have is actual clear engagement. Now I have a dog that's trying to understand what I want from them, what they want from me. You know what I mean? So that's the whole point of it. Because what we've seen, and I've been guilty of it, is if I try to force my way or try to be very generic in my training style, the dog at that point is not even thinking anymore. They're trying to abide by a system, and they keep staying in that heightened state, whether it's a fight or flight mode, right? But once we get them to think, we've already broken down so many barriers off that one session that could last, honestly, 45 minutes to an hour. The tree shaded. I make sure I don't do the stupid stuff in the middle of the Texas summer. You know what I mean?
Right.
And midday. So obviously consider those variables, as a responsible dog trainer should. But that is the key factors. I'm trying to trigger the canine to think about what's going on.
I like that. I'm gonna try that out.
Make sure it's muzzled. And
Yeah,
I've been muzzle punched
yeah.
too many times. I've been muzzle punched too many times.
On that walk, I'm assuming you're doing like the same path every time. That way, there's no like new.
Same path every time. And what you end up getting, bro, which is cool, is you get mental frustration a lot quicker. You get mental frustration a lot quicker. So now the dog says, let's just fast forward, right? Oh, we're going to fast forward this real quick. I say sit. Dog doesn't want to sit. I take them for a quick walk and I come right back. They're like, oh man, not this again. And now I say sit, and they're like, oh, all right, dude, I'm going to sit for you. I say down, I'm a down for you. But there isn't like an avoidance. There isn't like that you break that barrier of like potential physical expectation. And now you're all here. Like, you're in their head. And they're like, I already know this game, dude. I'm just going to down for you already. Or I'm not going to chase that deer because you know what I mean? They already know the game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Gotcha.
So to caveat of it, the biggest thing with the aggressive dogs is we're teaching them how to learn. That's if I could make it a synopsis, is teaching them how to learn, because that transfers over everything else that we do.
Right. And just for like clarification and all that stuff, this is just a very, very condensed version. There's a lot of nuances. There are a lot
Yes.
of things, because I could ask questions like, oh, what do you walk them on? What do you do? And I don't want to do that, because what I'm afraid of is that, and this is one of the things I share with John about doing a podcast, like, that this isn't like we're laying out a full seminar or we're working with you day by day. You're not going to get like a fast track, like, okay, now I can deal with every aggressive dog if I can get the muzzle on and put them in a tree and all this shit. No.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, there's a lot there's a lot of micro nuances that I'm not mentioning, because I'm trying to save time, but 2 is like, get the gist of it. This is our
Right.
belief in mental frustration. There's a lot of micro nuances. Like, I tell people, it's like, don't do it. I have people call me all the time, any suggestions? And I tell them off the rip, I am very cautious and hesitant to give you any recommendations over the phone, because there's details in between those things that's probably going to get you bit. So like, so for sure. But that's just like the notion of teaching a dog how to learn and getting mental frustration out of them versus the physical tolerance or something to that effect.
I like that. You don't see people focus on like a mental correction versus physical correction.
Yeah, man. And even our e-collar work, I say our e-collar work, let me rephrase this. I always use the e-collar, especially in the Marine Corps. But Rachel's e-collar work, and I got it because she's quiet, right? Like I know I have a habit of taking the room, so I'm sorry about that. I do talk a lot. But Rachel's e-collar work, our e-collar conditioning process, you guys should go ahead, kill it. Tell about our e-collar conditioning.
So obviously there's a million ways to use e-collars, right? The way that I have seen the best success and the best approach to the e-collar and a positive outlook is by just teaching this dog that it's essentially me, right? So it's not used as a form of correction, it's a form of just communicating with your dog. So obviously you collar condition, right? And that when it comes to our collar conditioning, it takes at least a week, sometimes a little bit longer depending on the dog, right? Because again, I want this dog to truly understand that that sensation is us. It's not just, oh fuck, it's not, oh my God, what do I need to be ready for? They understand that that feeling is literally just us, and all I want you to look at is us. Once they show us that they understand that that touch is us, then we bridge our e-collar with that command. So with every command, that's when we use the e-collar pressure. We don't ride the pressure until they complete the command. We just use that few seconds for them to feel it, hear, or give it our command, and then they execute it. I did it with my Mal when she was 6 months old. I did it with her I stayed that e-collar route for 6 months because I wanted her to be fucking solid. And she's one of the best dogs I've ever had the pleasure of training. And obviously she was a badass dog to begin with. I just fine-tune her. But because the way I use the e-collar is what set her up. Fuck, she's 9 going on 10, and she's fucking most capable dog on and off leash because of the route that I did. And whenever I bring that fucking the e-collar, that bitch still gets stupid excited. She's like, all right, what crazy shit are we gonna do today? But that's what I love, is that I can, and I never call and wised her or anything like that, because again, if you bring it into a positive outlook, it's a lot easier to wing away to when you're ready to do so. So that's how we like to use the e-collar here, especially. And even with our military cats that we've done it with.
Yeah, we did a pilot for the military, and they really enjoyed it. So there's some cool stuff hopefully happening in the future. But we did do a pilot with the military on it, and the whole week was just collar conditioning. The second week, the first week was all collar conditioning. The second week we started implementing it with the commands, and they're like, "There's something here." You know what I mean? So super cool. Yeah,
it was cool because we got to play with one of the dogs that went through the petty course.
Yep.
That got essentially fucked up by the e-collar and had a super bad outlook on it. And by the time we were done with her, she was getting back into this understanding that, oh shit, this isn't gonna fucking do some crazy shit to me. Like it's a good sensation now. So that was pretty cool.
Was the program that messed her up or the handler?
No, it was a program.
It was a program.
Yeah, that one was.
I think that dog had a low tolerance to.
Yeah,
because they were using the Dogtra Tritronic.
Oh,
Yeah.
That goes one low and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then we ended up using, I think it was Dogtra. We use a Dogtra, but it goes 0 to 127.
Yeah.
So you can go up gradually. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the dog, I think, was like on a one. I think one medium was too. Yeah. I think one medium was too high.
Yeah.
One medium was too high, but one low was too high. Medium was like one low. Sorry, the dog would ignore that one low. One medium was too high.
Yeah.
And there's no
in between.
There's no in between. So that's ended up happening with that one.
Yeah. Let's try Tronic collars. They got some juice. So like what, 1 through 7, and then you got the high and lows. You got like 21 low.
Yeah. I mean, I like them. I think they're good, but I've really been, so when I was in the Marine Corps, I was part of a program called Specialized Search Dog, and all we did was train dogs on the e-collars and like radios. So we communicated them via radios. Loved it. I was very ignorant, where I didn't know, which is it's funny because like they bought us Doctras or the Tritronics, so I said we're gonna make it work. But my Israeli SSD, I had the 0 to 127, and I could finagle it more. My mind just never thought about like, adjusting to the numbers of the dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why I say like we push good dogs in SSD. If I knew what I knew today, though, it'd be drastically different. But that's why I say it's her method. Like she's the one that showed me that, and I was like, okay, damn, okay, there is a better way. You know what I mean?
No, that's good. Let me see. How are we doing on time?
Yeah, if we're taking time, my bad, but we're talking about
No. I have nothing. You guys are the ones I can't even catch you. You're in overseas one day and then back in the U.S., but not in Texas. So you guys are the ones that are on a schedule. My mind's rattling because I'm like, there's a lot of stuff that I miss. Like, we didn't even talk about Josh, your background.
No, my bad.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll just stick with where we're at. We're gonna have to do it again. That's all.
I'm with it.
Yeah, and that's the conclusion.
We gotta do another episode.
Yeah. No, for sure. It'll be more structured, I guess. But there was one question, and I'm trying to remember.
I know we talked about like search. We didn't talk about search and rescue. That was one we said we were gonna talk about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I talked about fentanyl. We talked about soul-based odor from. No, we didn't talk about that. Huh?
No.
We didn't talk.
Okay.
That's search and rescue. Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's go to search and rescue. Let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right, tell us, kind of how you guys got into it, and then, your experiences, please.
Yeah. So I got into search and rescue in 2017. I got out of the Marine Corps in 2017. So when I went to federal service, once again, I was lucky. I got out of the Marine Corps June 10 of 2017. I got into federal service June 11 of 2017. Same job, just switch uniforms. You know what I mean? But what I won't say was lucky was the transition getting out of the military was extremely rough for me. My first 2 years, I was in a dark place. I'm real big on giving credit where credit is due. Racheal and my Dutch Shepherd Leica that passed away were like what kept me here today. You know what I mean? If not, I probably wouldn't be here today. So I got real bad depression. It was real dark. While I was going through my turmoil, through my own like little demons, a good friend of mine, and at that time he was guiding me through the federal service system, Orlando Nunez, was like, maybe you should go to search and rescue. And I was like, man, that's whack. Why should I go? He said, do it for the dogs. And I had Leica, my Dutch Shepherd, who's high drive. I was like, whatever, I'll go. And I actually enjoyed it. Like, it was very nostalgic. It was very nostalgic and reminiscent of SSD because I was working her off leash. I was able to do some cool stuff with her. So it was very therapeutic, man.
Right.
And Rachel at that time, she had her puppy, Luna, who's now 9 years old. We had her puppy, and she's like, oh, that's cool. So she started developing Una too. So it kind of like not only helped me in terms of therapy, it was amazing for Leica in terms of giving her an outlet. I think she was 3 or 4 years old at the time. She was, I think, 4 years old at the time. But also it helped us again, like, okay, we get to be handlers. You know what I mean? We're not just trainers doing the federal service, like production line model. The red tape, federal service got a lot better, but there was a lot of red tape, especially when I started. So it gave me that outlet to still be with dogs, still pursue my passion, and still provide a good cause. You know what I mean? Still do something meaningful. So that's how it started for me.
I mean, yeah, I piggybacked off you, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the best part about it is just being a hate and then going out and then being a civilian side and then going to Homeland Security. I mean, obviously, I love fucking training dogs, fucking love it. But yeah, being a handler, I mean, it's just different, and it's just a different, gratefulness in the sense of just being able to work one dog, and that's that dog, you're relying on. But yeah, working on search and rescue obviously was already just very different in the context. You're using cadaver odor, which that shit is rank. If you've ever smelt it, you'll never it smells just as bad every time. So learning how odor works in the just that realm was just mind blowing too, because obviously we're used to explosive and narcotics, and now they're here like, here's a body part. This is how it works. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? So just learning that aspect again, I think it opened a whole nother realm in the sense of just learning how odor's so fucking different again, and how fucking just the environment plays with it. It's crazy, man. There's so much that goes into it that people truly don't know because, it's just such a closed realm that not a lot of people take the time or just don't care to learn about it. But it brings a lot of value, especially the off-leash capability, and just teaching dogs, that their nose is their everything and not to be so reliant on you and all that. So I've really enjoyed search and rescue in that aspect for sure.
It's awesome. All right. Unfortunately, we do have to kind of wrap it up. John's got to pick up his kids.
Okay, my bad. Yeah.
No, I didn't know. I misspoke. I'm all hype but so we'll just so we're gonna kind of come to a conclusion of some sort. What's up?
I do want to give the final count.
Oh, what we got?
Oh God.
Oh, let me get yes. I'll say 42.
No, she's exceeded that, dude. Probably.
Yep.
Yeah. What is it?
Sean, you got a guess?
No, I don't. No, it's definitely past 50. I stopped counting.
I won. What? 89.
Yeah.
89. What are you doing?
That sounds about right.
How long been going? An hour?
Hour 17.
We're at 117.
Hey, it was a good conversation.
No, that's reflective. If you analyze, that means she was comfortable and she felt good and she was.
Thank you. Yeah,
no, I appreciate it.
If you analyze, we lost half our viewers. Maybe they'll not.
If they tuned off because of that, they're not the viewers we want anyway.
Yeah, they're not the people we want. They're not invested, so that's good. Yeah.
Exactly. See?
Yeah. This is awesome. Honestly, guys, genuinely, like I know we say it and everybody says it, we appreciate it. I personally appreciate it. I know I'm dog shit about communicating, and like you guys live like an hour away and I've seen you once, twice, but I've come to visit once. But
It's been twice, yeah.
yeah, twice. No, but honestly, I really do
Yeah.
appreciate like the friendship, all the stuff outside of this, and then having like to come full circle for me personally, and to know y'all as long as I've known y'all, and to see the growth. And I'm like, holy hell, me and our mutual friend Solomon, we were talking about the other day. We were like, they're always doing something, which is great. But no, I appreciate y'all's time to come out, do this. We definitely have to do it again. I don't know when. I'm not going to commit to that, but this was genuinely fun for me. Like I enjoyed doing the podcast, but this was nice. It felt like a sit down, and just talking with friends. So this is awesome.
It was nice meeting y'all. When we first started in February 22, 23?
No,
Was it 23?
last year, 4.
Yeah, 24. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so February 24 when we first started, I remember we made a list of like people we'd want to talk to, and that's when I first heard about you guys. But I've literally heard about you guys since before we recorded the first episode.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd hear you be like, yeah, they're doing this, or yeah, I'm like, we got to get them on. So it was good meeting you guys. You guys got great personalities. I'm coming down to San Antonio at some point next year, so hopefully we can meet up. You
No,
guys
that
might
sounds
be
good.
somewhere else in the world, but we kind of lined it up.
No, man, thank you guys for the opportunity. Like, I say it's time and time again. Like, if there's any success to what we're doing, and if there is success to it, it's because of like y'all supporting us. You guys taking time out of your day and always believing in us. I'll say to Sean, I mean that. Like, you've known, like I said, you've seen full circle, right? So the support's been amazing. Even when we taught at Lackland, like you've always been there. And then Jonathan, I'm like, it's two-way street, bro. I followed you on social media too, and I've been watching what you put in there. So keep doing amazing work. But I also appreciate the authenticity of what you guys do, like y'all's podcast, the way you guys talk to everything. So if anything, like if anybody deserves to say a thank you, it's us to you guys. And I do want that part two. I do. I am looking forward to part 2. I do mean it.
No, it's happening.
Definitely.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, thank you guys so much. It's honestly, I really enjoyed this. I like that it was just like you said, White. It was just a conversation and talk about dogs and a little bit about us. So thank you for that. I really enjoyed this. Definitely part 2. And if you're coming to fucking San Antonio, that means you gotta bring White so that way we can fucking barbecue and have a good time together.
Oh,
That's the one
dude,
we
yeah,
get to see
they're
him.
great hosts. Oh my
That's
god,
the only
yeah.
way we get to see him. By the way, you need to come to San Antonio and bring him to us. That's the only way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
that way
yeah.
we'll try and do it at least twice a year. That way he can maintain that.
Yeah, meet the
Meet the quota for sure. But
No,
hey, thank you guys so much. I don't want to hold you back anymore. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
No, real quick though, we're not going to close that way. How do people reach out to you for the ones that are still listening?
Oh,
Like, how do they get
yeah,
in touch?
um,
What can you provide? Please, things you have coming up that they can tap into, all that stuff.
Yeah, so I would say anybody who's interested in what we do or what we have to offer, I would strongly encourage them to visit us via Instagram, which is at Paws and Footprints LLC, Facebook, Paws and Footprints Training Academy LLC, or at our website, pawsandfootprints.com. If you want to do via email, if you guys are about that life, info@pawsandfootprints.com.
Damn, you sound like me, dude. I can't remember any of my handles and all that stuff. I'm like,
Yeah, I was trying to remember. I was like, okay, this, that. Yeah.
but mine is worse. Is my name, and I'm like, no, that's good. No, for the tidbit that I did get to sit back on y'all's seminar and just watching you guys collab, and we didn't even get to talk about the relationship aspect and doing it together. So that'll be in part 2 for sure. But you guys have a beautiful thing going on. I've seen y'all, in your personal lives and how you interact, and I love it, man. From just how you guys work together. So it's awesome.
I appreciate it, man. A lot of work. But I appreciate
Yeah. Oh man, I'm thinking about you guys. Probably, I don't even know if you'll remember. Like when Jocelyn and I were together, it was me, you, Solomon. We all went out to eat, and we just I don't know how we got from dogs and all that stuff to like marriage, and we were like, oh, do you go through that? And it was just like a cross. Wise, we were talking about, yeah, my husband does that. He's a piece of shit. It was like a venting. It was good growth. I shouldn't say that because we're not together. We're still friends. But no, it was a good moment. Honestly, it probably bought us another year of marriage. So thank you. All right, please, anybody that's listening, reach out to Paws and Footprints. You guys host law enforcement, military, pets, obviously, whatever. Just reach out to them and see what you can. All right, that'll do it for another episode of Working Dogs and Whiskey. Thank you all for being on here, and we'll have to do it again.
Look forward to it. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.